Maybe you are one of these people who have a strong intuition, who have a deep life of feelings. Maybe when people talk to you, you don't pay attention to the words. You feel what's behind the words. You feel the energy. You can sense their intention. And you can also sense where they're coming from. If that's the case, you're an intuitive person. You have a strong intuition. And this is a very good news because it's a gift, but it's also a curse because it's not easy every day. And so in this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can handle this properly so that you can turn it into a gift instead of leaving it as a curse. So, first and foremost, if you're struggling with it, most likely the kind of issues that you have are not understanding people, feeling confused about who they are, what they want, not understanding society and how to fit in society, feeling lost, disconnected from your purpose, not understanding what you're here for, and striving to live a life of meaning, of connection, of belonging. But you live in such a fake world that it's very difficult. You might feel like you're torn apart between who you want to be and what the world tells you you should be. And that's a difficult situation. It can be very painful because you cannot find your ground. You cannot find your center. You cannot stand in your truth also, because for a lot of intuitives, it's scary to stand in your truth. Why? Because usually people who have strong intuition have been through trauma. And so in order to survive, you might have developed this capacity to feel people's intention, because feeling people's intention will mean safety, because you could anticipate what would happen to you. And maybe you've developed this deep sensitivity to things because of what you've been through. This is the part of it that is a curse, because you are constantly in such a sensitive state that it's very difficult to maintain relationships. It's also difficult to connect with others without being overwhelmed. And it's difficult to live with people who are not authentic, because it triggers you. You instantly know that they're lying and they're pretending, and you're wondering, but why aren't they just showing their real face? And you don't understand. And this can create such a sense of confusion, right? And it was the case for me, I've suffered a lot from it until I turned it into a gift, a power. And now it's not a problem at all anymore for me, So in this curse, in this loneliness, in this feeling of disconnectedness, what truly matters is to develop the ability to listen to yourself more than you listen to others. And this is a challenge, because if you have trauma that has pushed you to be someone that you're not, you're going to have to let go of that. And you're going to have to learn to listen to yourself. And you're going to have to learn to develop your own sense of inner authority, and to not draw this authority from others, but from you. And that's challenging, because there is this part of you, this inner child that is not healed, that really wants to listen to others to feel safe, that really is striving to get guidance from others, and is trying to fit in and to fit in the boxes. But you can't, because you don't like boxes and you don't care about boxes, So the first step is really listening and healing this inner child, helping this inner child heal, embracing him and teaching him that he can be himself without validation from others, that he can express himself without being scared of being judged. And that's really the inner work part. It's really the shadow work. And it's very important to do this step, because otherwise you will just try and try and try to make sense of it all, and nothing will make sense, and everything will be overwhelming. So a big reason why you're overwhelmed is also because you're carrying all this wounding within you, all these lingering emotions that have never been felt. And so there's this whole work of feeling your feelings, embracing the pain, meeting your inner child, so that this can give you a ground from which you can really develop this gift and be stable in this intuitive personality. Now, what's very important for intuitive people is to live in an environment and to find this environment that suits them. You have to understand that you cannot be everywhere. You cannot fit in every place. You have to find where you're comfortable. Okay, so for me, for example, I used to live a life where I would go out with friends and party and go to bars. And every time it was such a dread, such a weight on my heart, and such a challenge because it was not for me. Until I realized that what was for me was to live a quiet life. That's not the case of everyone. And so you have to understand that also having a job in a big company with loud people who are constantly wearing a mask that doesn't suit your essence at all, who don't speak the truth, who speak lies and lie to themselves, is so uncomfortable. And you might be living and you might be having this type of jobs if you're watching this video where you just feel overwhelmed constantly because there's low emotional intelligence and there's a lot of toxic behaviors maybe, or a lot of pressure, and everything is just goes so fast and so intense. And so it's about finding and understanding that there is a possibility of living a life that suits you. You just have to find another place and stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to live to get money and start living to live from the purpose, from a deeper purpose. Because if you're not healing as an intuitive person, you're in survival mode, which leads you to go into places that are designed to just show you over and over again that you're in survival mode and that you're doing it only for the money. So it's about realizing that it's more than the money, and that finding this safety within you where life is abundant already and where you don't need to search for money, for safety, because you already have it within you. That's where the spiritual practice is important. To connect to your deepest being and realize that you already have the capacity for feeling safe and you can regulate your nervous system. And from that place, all is possible. Because you're going to build from a strong foundation instead of trying to survive in this society that you don't understand. So if you listen truly to yourself, you listen to your heart, you open your heart to your authentic expression, the answers will naturally come. Naturally, you will find a way. Naturally, people will come. Naturally, you will find the right job. But as long as you're lying to yourself, as long as you're trying to keep your relationships, your friends, because it's more comfortable than admitting that you don't like them, that you don't fit with them, as long as you're doing that, it's not going to work. And so this intuition is such a power because, look, right now I'm helping people. And when I help my clients, it's amazing because I connect with their feelings. I can sense where they're coming from. I can feel their intentions. I can grasp the stage at which they are in their life. And it's like I'm going so deep and I have empathy and compassion. And this is when it turns into a gift. It's when you see this as a potential for helping others and live the life that you want, instead of seeing it as a problem where you just suffer from it because you just can't accept that you are like this. You are sensitive. You have an inner world full of feelings. So what? It's okay. You're allowed to be yourself. And this is where the wounds are blocking you, because you think you're not allowed of being yourself. And so now it became such a power, because my sensitivity is so useful. I can go to places and I immediately sense if it's not for me. I can meet people and like this, I know who this person, no. It's such a gift. You don't need to struggle with relationships anymore when you're listening to this whispering voice telling you, no, this is not the way. This is not the way. So instead of disowning this, what if you own it? What if you make it a tool for your life, not a problem to be desperate about? Because this intuition allows you to find the right places, the right people, and to pierce through people's experiences and to connect with their deepest authenticity. It allows you to understand the world in such a nuanced way, with a range of inner experiences and nuances that makes your life so fulfilling and full and adventurous. But if you suppress this, then it's gonna create the opposite, where all these feelings are too much, where this inner voice is perceived as a problem, where people are a danger. They're not a danger because you already know their intentions. So it's just up to you to set your boundary and you're free. They're only a danger because you don't know how to set a boundary. They're not a danger because you don't know them, because your intuition knows them already. Does that make sense? So yeah, I have to go. I have to take my train. I wish I could have talked more about this, because it's very important, and I will make other videos about this topic. So if you like it, that's great. You can comment on it, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.